This is where the Beaver Dam meets the Crawfish River. The confluence is actually right there behind me. I have no way to get across the river, so we're gonna fish at the boat launch. Hopefully we can get, it looks like there's actually quite a bit of like fish around here. So maybe we can get some channels, flatheads, and maybe even some big fish of death. So let's get fishing. Lo and behold, I got a fish. It's zooming. And I don't think it's a drum. I got a fish. Oh my God, it's pulling all the way over there. I'm really glad I got wire trace actually. I don't think it's a drum, or it's a really big one if it's a pretty big one if it's a drum. This gets my excitement meter. Oh, what is that? That is, oh, is that a bowfin? That is a dogfish. That's a big one too. It's a pretty nice, oh, that is a nice bowfin. Oh, bowfin. It's a bowfin, it's a bowfin. That is a big, big dogfish. I don't know if it's as big as the 8-pound one I caught at the rock, but that is a very, very nice sized dogfish. Very nice sized dogfish indeed. Took my worms. Took my worms. What a beauty. All right, I gotta get the net. That fish by itself will actually make this trip worth it, but I do want to catch more fish. There is a lot of bowfin here. All right, I gotta get him in. Gotta get him in. That is a beauty. That would be a personal best. Well, it still might be a personal best. I don't know how big that is actually. That is definitely a beauty. A beautiful fish. The net under him. Oh no, he doesn't want to come in. All right, might have to go to call in some extra power here. All right, man. All right, bowfin in the net. Oh, that's a big one. That is a big one. Bowfin, bowfin.
Oh, bowfin. Okay.
6.8 pound bowfin. 6.8 pounds already. That is a very, very nice bowfin. Not as fat as the other one, but a very, very nice fish indeed. Time to get him back in the water. All right, that was a lot of fun catching you, but time for you to go back, fish. There you go. What a nice fish to start the day. That fish was almost 7 pounds. The crazy thing is I didn't even know it was on because it didn't really pull one way. They didn't really pull that hard or really at all. And if it doesn't pull at all, you don't really know. Also, I mean, I didn't really know it was on until I started pulling it back. I saw a slight nod on the line. I thought it was a drum, but I'm glad it was not a drum, and it was that big, big bowfin. So I'm just gonna cast the curly tail grub out, and hopefully I can get something. It is ultra windy today. Well, super windy. It's like winds bustling at around 15 miles an hour, unfortunately. And with that kind of wind, just really not sure exactly how well I'm gonna be able to tell fish bites. I mean, if a really big like channel catfish just runs off the bait, it's easy to tell. But otherwise, it'll be actually kind of hard to tell because even that 6-7 pound fish was not actually that easy to tell that it was actually on the hook. Also, the river isn't really extremely deep here. It's got some depth, definitely. But I do hook on a lot of like reeds and stuff when I cast out. So hopefully have some luck and something will bite this lure. I've actually never had a northern pike bite a curly tail grub, but I have had plenty of other fish bite curly tail grubs, so we will see. Something bit my curly tail grub. As soon as I threw like kind of in the shallows, something definitely bit the curly tail grub. I don't know what it is. It's not as big as the last fish. Maybe it's another bowfin because they are really aggressive. But whatever it is, it's a fighter. Thinking it might be another bowfin? I think it is. Might be another bowfin. Oh, it's a smaller bowfin, but it threw my hook. It threw my hook. The bowfin. The bowfin. Switch to the bluegill lure because bluegill seem to be a natural bait around here. The wind is blowing my lures like crazy, so I'm not really sure how well these lures are going to work at this point. But hopefully I can get a fish off a lot of these lures because I have a lot of them. And lure fishing this year for me has not been all that successful. It's mainly the baits that have been doing the work for me this year. Oh, got something on the bluegill. Got something on the bluegill, I believe. Yep, definitely got something on the bluegill. Natural bait, big fish. Big fish? Is that a bowfin? Is it a bass? I don't know. Looks like it's yeah, it's a bass. It's a bass. It's a very small bass that took the bluegill bait. Very small bass, largemouth bass. Don't do a lot of bass fishing, but I will take a decent largemouth at any time. This isn't what I would call a decent largemouth, but still a nice catch. Largemouth bass. Next fish, largemouth bass. I'd say 11 inches or so. Pretty small bass, but another fish for the day, largemouth bass. All right, largemouth, time to go back in the water. You were a good fish. Thanks for playing, see ya. And right off. It's a nice fish. Well, it seems like most of the fish are actually out here in the shallow end on these curves rather than out in the middle of the river. So we're gonna keep tossing in these like margins near the reed beds and the sticks, which is hopefully not get caught. There's a decent amount of water here. There's not a great amount of water, but there's a decent amount of water. So a lot of fish are probably resting here during the day. So hopefully we can get more fish. I would say the water is at most like maybe 3 feet. Not really sure how deep, but probably at most like 3 feet deep. I'm gonna try over here because I might have exhausted that pool over there, but I have my bait in that pool. So if there's any large fish in there, they might bite the worms. So let's actually see if there's any fish over here. Switch to the minnow bait and I got a fish. Switch to the mimic minnows and I got a fish. I don't really know what it is. Oh, it's another bass. This one's a little bit better than the other one, but it's another largemouth. They are right here in the shallows. They are not actually out in the depth. I basically just casted this one right along the side, but got another largemouth bass. Not a big one, but it is better than the other one. Slightly bigger than the other one, but still not a monster. Maybe a 1 pounder? Pretty close to a 1 pounder. Not a bad bass. I'd say a solid 1 pounder. A little bit bigger than the other one. Maybe like 13, 14 inches, but we're gonna let it go and hopefully we get more fish. No other giants outside that bowfin. See ya, bass. Keep tossing the mimic minnow. 2 largemouth and a bowfin today. I know there's more fish out there, and definitely like when we get closer to dusk, hopefully the gato fish will come. All right, I got another fish. Got another fish. It's a very small one. Is that a bluegill? Oh, got myself a pumpkin seed. It's a nice one. I think it's gonna be bait. I think it's gonna be bait, folks. Cut bait. That's all the cut bait I'm gonna need today. That's probably like a 6-7 inch bluegill or pumpkin seed or whatever. Going to be bait. Oh, we have a gato gill. I'm not gato. Then you're just an unworthy bluegill. An unworthy bluegill get fed to the gato fish. Wait, I'm very gato. Meow, 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 meow. Unfortunately, you have shown me your true nature. Therefore, you will be bait. No! All right, we're gonna try the blade bait. The blade bait's missing 1 hook, but whatever. It's still a work, probably. As long as something tries to bite it, which is the hard part, getting something to bite it. But a lot of stuff has actually been biting today. I think I've at least lost like half the fish that's bit today. Mainly because I'm messing with the camera. I lose way too many fish messing with the camera. But that's fine. Still caught like 4 fish today. We'll probably catch several more. So it's been a pretty good fishing day. Plus I caught the biggest one, which was that, near 7 pound bowfin. So I'm pretty happy with today. But there are a lot of fish around here. I know there's a lot of bluegill around here. Not quite eater size, but decent bait size ones. Not really what I'm trying to get with this. But maybe I get like another bass or something. I'm really looking for white bass right now, but I have not been able to find them at just about any location. Maybe besides Jefferson Dam, but those are usually pretty small. Got something in the blade bait. Oh, I think it jumped. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Still struggling. It's a bass. Oh, this is good. This is good. Oh man, it's much bigger than the other bass. Struggling pretty hard. It's a lot bigger. It's trying to jump a little bit. There you go. There's another jump. Yep. Looks like about a 2 pound bass. Ooh, it's thrashing hard. Let me get the net. And we're going to land this puppy. Yeah, we are definitely going to land this puppy. That is a decent sized largemouth bass. I think the biggest largemouth I've actually caught this year, because I don't really fish for largemouth that often, so that's a nice bass. 2.2 pound largemouth bass. 2.2. Best bass of the year. So, well, best largemouth of the year so far. I've caught bigger smallies. Probably one of the few fishermen that catches bigger smallies than largemouth, but 2.2 largemouth. Thanks for being my best largie of the year. You're going back in the water. There you go, fish. Back in the water you go. Swimming off. There's a lot of fish here. I lost like several fish. I just lost one on the cut bait because it came off, unfortunately. But it's a good day of fishing here because, yeah, a lot of the my cast baits are actually hitting. The thing is, like, when something bites the bottom bait, even that big fish head, I couldn't tell because, like, it didn't actually pull, which is very, very annoying indeed. I like fish that pull. I don't like fish that just kind of like stay there and don't tell me that they're there, because that actually makes it very, very hard for me to actually figure out if there's a fish on or not. Because I think that guy's probably been on for a while on the cut bait. Got a fish on the worms. Got a fish on the worms. It's not very big. So that just that is a small bluegill all the way out there. I got my bait for today. What is it? Got a fish on the worms. Is that a drum? No, it's a bluegill. That's a pretty decent sized one. I think a little bit big to be bait. It's nice. It's like a nice 8-incher. It's a nice that is a nice, if you look at the size of the bluegill compared to my hand, it's like about 8 inches, maybe 7 3/4. A little bit big to be bait. Hopefully I can get a smaller gill. All right, gill, see ya. If I can't catch any smaller gills soon with the bobber and the worm, I'll probably just end up using the 7-inch, like those 7-inch gills, because I don't think 7-8 inches is too big for like a big flathead. Might be too big for like a small flathead, but for a large flathead, I think that's actually pretty good. But those 7-inch gills can actually pull the line pretty hard. So sometimes I think it'll be hard for me to determine like what's a flathead pull and what's a mean bluegill pull. Usually it's not a big deal, but like that 7.5-inch gill did sort of like bend the pole, so it is a little bit harder to tell if you have bigger bluegills as bait. Shouldn't be too much of a problem though. I'd rather have like a 4-inch gill as bait, because then you have a more range of predators that will actually eat the bluegill. Definitely got some on this pole, but I'm hoping it's not a turtle. Nope, it's a fish. It's swimming too fast to be a turtle. Is that a gato? Oh no! It got off. I think that was a bowfin. That did not look like a gato fish. The mouths of the bowfins are tough, so sometimes it's hard to get a hook. Seems like there is a massive concentration of bowfin in these waters. Cut bait obviously is very key to catching bowfin, but they are hard to hook, unfortunately. The curly-tailed grub has done its job today too. Hooked a bowfin, a couple of bass. So overall, it's been pretty successful, but I do want to catch a monster fish. My bobber is kind of swimming. It's swimming. Oh, got something. Feels strong. Is that a blue? Oh, that's huge. It's a huge pumpkin seed bluegill thing. Good thing it didn't swallow my bait, but that's huge. Look at that. That is bigger than my hand. That is a big, big bluegill, man. It's probably, yeah, it's more than 8.5. It's like 8.5. That is a big bluegill. Not my personal best, but pretty close. Well, actually not that close. My personal best is like 9.5, so inch bigger than this, but I can't use this guy as bait. He's too big. Need something like much, much smaller. Check that out. Really, really nice pattern. See ya. While I was getting the bluegills, something bit my cut bait. Oh, it's probably another bowfin. Oh, geez, they always spit it out. I'm almost sure that was a bowfin. Man, all the bluegill around here are pretty big. Both the one I caught, both of them that I've actually caught out there with a bottom bait. There's a lot of them though. I'll give you that. There's a lot of these gills, but they're too big for me to actually use as bait. I think I'm going to end up using one of the 7-inchers because I can't really get any of the smaller gills. Hopefully the flathead will be interested in the 7-incher, because if they're not, I'm out of luck. This guy is the smallest one of the bunch, so he's going to have to be my bait. He is still a good 6-7 inches, but he's going to have to be my flathead bait. Look at the size of that bluegill bait. Mighty good for a flathead on my 8/0 hook. Oh, something's got the bobber. Oh, it's a bullhead. It's a bullhead gato fish. The least gato of the fishes. A lot bigger than the bluegill, so I'm not going to use this bullhead gato fish as flathead bait. I'm actually surprised there's a bullhead here. This one's probably pretty close to a pound. Not quite as big as the ones at 6 Mile, but still a pretty good size. I wonder if a flathead would eat one this size. Probably not. A bullhead catfish. All right, the lesser gato fish came out. Hopefully that means the greater gato fish will come out soon. See ya, bullhead. Finally, I got a small fish. So the big fish is coming off, the small fish is going on. That big fish is probably going to be cut bait. Well, now we're getting towards sunset. I have, I think, like a 6-7 inch gill on one pole and like a 3-inch gill on the other pole, both live, hoping for a flathead, obviously. I have one more in the bucket that's about 5 or 6 inches. I'm probably going to throw that out as live bait as well. People on the Southeast Wisconsin forum told me that, 8-inch bluegills will catch flatheads just fine. So I'm going to go with that. And I have another bluegill from earlier as cut bait. So today has been a day of sacrificing bluegills, getting a lot of bowfin bites, but only being able to pull in the biggest one because the bowfins just didn't hook up well. Oh well, whatever. Didn't waste too many worms today. Have some good bait for flatheads. I think I got something on this pole. Something keeps on trying to pick up the small. Oh, yep, that's definitely a fish. That's not a bluegill. It's definitely a fish. It's not the bluegill. Yes, a 3-inch bluegill cannot pull the pole. I think that actually might be a bullhead because I know it's probably a little big to be a bullhead. It is. Is that a bullhead? Is that a bullhead? Nope, it's a small flathead. It is a fish of greater gato-ness. It's just a really small fish of greater gato-ness. It's not all that gato, but it is the right species, but of the wrong size, unfortunately. Right species, wrong size. Hopefully the other two bigger bluegills actually pick up a bigger one. But it is a flathead catfish, if you see right there. Small flathead, probably like only 1 pound. Man, things are aggressive. People were right. There's really no limit on how big or small these catfish will actually take prey. So that is a flathead, just not a big flathead. Nighttime, nice flathead. This guy ate my 3-inch minnow. All right, flathead, going back in the water because I like flatheads. Still got a hook stuck in them because I couldn't, like all these things like swallow my bluegills and I can't remove the hook from his throat for some reason. But I'm gonna let him go and I think he's gonna survive because he's a flathead. All right, flathead gato fish, you get to go because you're a flathead and I really like flatheads. There you go, flathead. Swim off into the depth. There you go. Small flathead. Well, we're back from the confluence and that was actually a lot of fun. We caught that one small flathead, several gills, all 7 to 8 inches, except for that 3-inch one, which I used as bait eventually. And we caught 2 that were like above 8 inches. Caught that bullhead. That was probably like 12, 13-inch bullhead. And we also caught 3 bass, and one of them was pretty nice. I'm definitely going back there after the catfish spawn, probably like in August, because I think there are probably some monsters there. They're probably just spawning right now. I'm sure there's channels there as well. Hopefully next time the water will be a little bit higher and the bowfin will not be quite as active because I want to catch some catfish there and some other fish. I'm pretty sure there's some northerns there as well. That's a great spot. So I hope you had fun watching this episode. Like and subscribe and hit that bell notifications button. I will see you on the next fishing adventure.